kind of goes without saying that every project has constraints. A lot of the times the constraints that we work within are the constraints of budget and time. At the college here, like we mentioned before, that we use kind of industry standard tools as far as our graphics creation tools, things like that. Those are pretty industry standard. We do have alternatives. We do have things like I've mentioned before, like Jing. These are free. There's free software out there to do a lot of this stuff, but we're able to use kind of industry standard tools. And so when we're working on these virtual labs and some of these larger projects that we work on, we kind of have to find a different way to create the physical media. And this is where we can be really creative with our approaches on how we create these labs. For example, one of the things that we did for a virtual geology lab is one of the requirements is that a student was able to look at a rock sample and view it 360 degrees. And so we sat and we talked about it. And the thing we ended up doing is getting a Lazy Susan, putting it on a table, and then taking the sides off of the Lazy Susan, and then getting a CD spindle and putting it in the middle of the Lazy Susan, and then we stuck a rock, whatever rock we were working on top of that. And then we're able to set the camera up in front of it, and we painted the CD spindle green to match the green chroma key curtain that we had in the background. The green chroma key curtain ran, I think it was $150, and so it's not too expensive. And what we did is we shot the video of the rock rotating 360 degrees on this Lazy Susan. And so once we were able to export that video, take out all the green coloring, what we have left is a rock that appears to float 360 degrees. And we imported that into Flash and then built a custom video player so that it looked like the rock was rotating 360 degrees. The student was able to scrub the playhead of the video basically and view that. There were some rocks that were very thin, and we couldn't stand them up on the edge. And so what we did is we got Nerf balls and hollowed out the bottom of the Nerf ball and stuck it on top of the CD spindle. When we did that, then we cut a slit in the top of the Nerf ball and stuck the thin rock, the rock sample there, into that slit, and that helped the rock to stay up on edge. And so as it rotated, we were able to do that. And so it's in your approach on how you do things within the constraints of budget and time. We've done things like a virtual solubility lab where the student needed to be able to see chemicals being mixed, and the best way to record that was to put the video camera up close, and we used a file folder hanger and binder clips, and the binder clips held our test tubes in place as we were mixing them, and we chose a nice color background to go with that. And so the student, when they see the video, doesn't know the workings around the video, they just see the chemicals being mixed. And so the end result is something that looks very professional. You just have to change your mindset and how you approach those projects. The thing that I've learned, I think, the most is that you can have all the budget and time that you need, but just because a project doesn't have restraints and constraints like that doesn't mean that it's going to be a better project in the end. A lot of times people will use constraints to make themselves think out of the box. And so definitely I would say take advantage of those constraints and try to approach those things from a different angle and really try to come up with a creative solution.